Once you've published your cross sections, you may certainly want to plot the long section, so you might want the vertical extraction of surface information along that alignment. So just recapping from previous outputs, this toggle here, select sections for output, allows you to manage, out of all of the cross sections that have been sampled, allows you to manage which ones get included for your long section output and cross section output, and optionally for set out. So if we're focusing on the long section output controls, we're actually actively picking the individual sections that we want to include in the long section output. So that will affect what happens down the bottom in the bands and in terms of the sampling along the long section. One thing to note is that by default these items are ticked on: VC high low and VC start end. So these relate to doing what we call a string design on your alignment, and in the case of CSD Siteworks, you're actually wanting to reference surfaces as opposed to doing your own vertical design with vertical curves. So you want to tick these two items off, otherwise you will get all sections in here, assuming that your road was designed with all of these sections in place. Once we go apply and exit and run long section sheets, you then pick on your center alignment, and just reiterating, the sample list here is what's going to drive the sections. We go selected sampled sections. You will get a preview window something like this. The long section will probably not have any colors, and you'll have a band of design surface existing and chainage. So what we're going to do is to load a style. So we click on load style, and we'll pick one that says existing surface only. Now what that does is it strips out some of the bands. Okay, so we're only looking at chainage and existing surface. We'll zoom in on that and see what we've got. Now you'll notice that there's quite tight stacking of the chainage information. We'll go and tidy that up in a moment. So similar to cross-section plotting, but the layout's slightly different. The main parameters for control are actually sitting here on the main general tab. So your positioning of your long section, the setting up of the bands happens right on the general tab. And when you make a change, you click on update display. You'll see now that the software is spanning 2 pages, okay, because it's seeing that it needs to get the 2 pages of information. If we play with the left margin again, we should be able to fit it all on one sheet. Okay, so you are in control of your scales. You can play around with the vertical exaggeration as you see fit. So I'll leave this at 1525. And we're going to go in and establish what we want to have happen along the run here in terms of surface display. So if we click on set up row data, in here you pick information that you want to use. Currently the last 2 items indicate a chainage and then the existing surface. We need to add a new vertical grading to show our design surface. To do this, click on vertical grading. Then we could add a reference through the string. However, we pick that we want to look at the mound surface instead of the design. So we're adding a new vertical grading. This will display an extra surface in the drawing, and we're going to call this one mound surface, and we pick a layer to show. Once we click OK, apply and exit and update, you'll now see that we have that extra surface showing on our long section. Okay, what we're going to do is to then look at publishing our outputs. So one thing to note is that the formatting tab lets you set up the chainage range, so we could say from 5 to say 32, and we're only picking up certain sections in here, so that limits the extents. And this value here, plan view width, allows you to include a viewport above the long section. The set datum control allows you to manage how the datum is managed, so how it determines the low end of the long section. You can go plot to layout or plot to file, and plot to file will create individual drawing files, and plot to layout will put layouts in the drawing. I'm just going to cancel this. You'll notice that the sectioning is still at the ½ meter increment. So if that does happen, rerun your long section plot, and what you'll find is it then strips out the extra sections, and these are just the cross sections that you said you wanted to sample. So if we go plot to file, the software will create individual drawing files of each sheet and place them in this location. If you rerun your long section plots and you choose plot to layout, so there's a model view. The challenge with the model view is that it is quite extensive in terms of width, so you may need to go and shorten that up yourself. But you get a model view of the alignment rotated and a width applied, and that matches up with the extent of each long section on each sheet.